Hello, my name's Leticia Rodriguez, and today I will be talking to you about K2, also known as spice. I now know why my kids say, Mom, you're not worldly. You don't know what's out there. Because honestly, I knew nothing about this drug. So I'm excited to share what I found, and I hope this is educational. What is K2 or spice? According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, it's a synthetic, man-made chemical that alters a person's mental status. Spice is banned from the US, along with several of the individual chemicals used to make it. So how is spice made? Well, it's a mixture of industrial chemicals intended to mimic the effects of THC. We all know that THC is the compound that we find in marijuana. Spice attaches to the same nerve cell receptors as THC does, giving people the same effect. The chemicals are sprayed on bits of dried plant material, and then they package it in colorful wrappers, which they've nicknamed poison packets. And they sell it under the guise of potpourri and herbal incense in local convenience stores, smoke shops, and even online, making it very enticing for young people to want to try. So there are some effects to the prefrontal cortex. According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, they observed links between adolescent marijuana use and vulnerabilities to psychiatric disorders. Their findings indicate that exposure to the drug's main psychoactive ingredient, known as THC, disrupts normal maturation of pyramidal neurons in the prefrontal cortex. These neurons are crucial for performance of the PFC, which mediates decision-making, impulse control, and emotional regulation, among other cognitive functions. The study's findings show that THC interferes with their development in ways that may increase adolescent cannabis users' risk for addiction and schizophrenia. So I want to give you a little bit more information, a couple of statistics as well. So according to the DEA, the majority of the synthetic cannabinoids are manufactured in Asia without manufacturing requirements or quality controls. Now that's alarming. K2 first appeared in Britain in 2004, and since the drug is relatively new, the long-term effects of K2 are still unknown. In 2010, over 11,400 people were sent to the emergency room due to the effects of the synthetic marijuana. The synthetic cannabinoid found in K2 can be 100 times more potent. In 2016, 3.5% of our 12th graders reported that they had tried K2, which again, to me, is alarming. Calls to poison control centers for harmful exposures from these drugs in 2016 was reported at 2,695. And in 2011, over 28,531 ER visits were linked to this synthetic cannabinoid. So why are people drawn to this K2 or spice? Well, it has the same effects as marijuana. So the positive effects are improved mood, overall sense of being relaxed, altered perceptions, and it's very cheap. So I shared with you some of the positive effects or why people are drawn to the drug, but now I'm going to share the negative effects on individuals while they're on spice. So they get raised heart rate and blood pressure, altered state of consciousness, perceptual alterations or time distortion, intensification of sensory experiences, pronounced cognitive effects, impaired short-term memory, agitation, seizures, hypertension, emesis, which is vomiting, and hypokalemia, which is elevated levels of potassium in the blood serum. When it's severe, this can result in muscle pain, muscle weakness, and muscle numbness, which is why when you're watching videos of individuals on spice, they are walking weird or they're stuck in a certain contorted position. It now makes sense to me. Spice is administered by smoking. People can use it in a pipe, a water pipe, or rolling the drug-laced plant material in cigarette papers. I came across this article that I found very interesting in the New York Times, and this was reported back in December of 2016. It says, drug 85 times as potent as marijuana caused a zombie-like state in Brooklyn. And it says that the article described a mass casualty event in which emergency medical services, EMS workers, were called to a Brooklyn intersection to aid multiple people shuffling about in a confused zombie-like state. I remember reading that, but I had no idea what the cause was. And the article goes on to talk about parallel events had occurred in Los Angeles, Skid Row, in the spring and summer of the same year, where EMS workers found people dazed, confused, and in some cases unconscious in what was described as a war zone. And the cause of these zombie outbreaks, which were ultimately attributed to the ingestion of synthetic cannabinoids, better known on the street by their various brand names such as Spice, K2, or Mojo. And while I was doing my research on this drug, it probably has 100 different names. And so I'll make those names available to us. As I promised, the many names you should be aware of for K2 and Spice are Arizona, Black Mamba, Bombay Blue, Genie, Zoe, Banana Cream Nuke, Krypton, Lava Red, Bliss, Blaze, Fake Weed, Legal Weed, Red X Dawn, Scooby Skunk, Snap, and Yucatan Fire. And in some countries, such as Argentina and Chile, they refer to it as Crippy. The physical effects of K2 is alarming. I could not imagine what would happen if individuals interacted Spice with any other substance. One of the things I wanted to make you aware of is that there's a common theme with the use of K2 or Spice. They're utilizing it in groups, causing the mass casualty calls for EMS to respond. And that's actually become a very normal theme. The images I presented to you today only tell half the story. If you log on to YouTube and type in zombie drugs, you will see hundreds of videos showing the effects it has on people while on Spice. It's alarming, it's terrifying, but the more educated we become on these drugs, the better equipped we'll be. So this concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me at LetitiaRodriguez3@laverne.edu. Thank you.